Hello, my name is Gary Hash, Senior Pastor at Jubilee Christian Center here in Fairlawn, Virginia. Just had a thought I wanted to share with you today regarding making the hard calls on the people you have in your life. Proverbs 13th chapter, verse number 20 said, if a man wants to be wise, just get wise men around him. You used to hear coming up, used to always tell us that you take on the attributes of the people that you have around you. If you lay down with dogs, you get up with fleas. In Mexico, they have a saying that if you run with wolves, you learn how to howl. I found out during the time of hard sayings, when God speaks things into our lives, we're at turning points, pivotal times, if we can take that thing. I remember in the 6th chapter of John when Jesus' disciples around him, and they were following Jesus around, all these people, because Jesus had multiplied the fishes and the bread. And the word was out. If you hang out with Jesus, the groceries follow him. There was incredible provision that followed this man. He was so prosperous, so successful, so abounding in the blessing of the Lord. But Jesus had another lesson he wanted to teach them, and that was to seek God for the right reasons. And that particular day, he actually told them, you have to eat of this bread and drink of my blood. And he was talking about covenant relationship. And in John, the 6th chapter, verse 66, it said that many of his disciples went back because of that saying and followed him no more. Child of God, some of you may be sitting here today and you're wondering where that transition, you're wondering why you're in the hallway so long, so to speak, and you're never arriving at that place of provision. You're never stepping into your Canaan land promise. Go back to the last hard saying that you walked away from and made a decision not to follow him anymore. If you can make the hard calls on the people that you have in your life, I can guarantee you there is an appropriation of grace and provision and strength for every area of your life. Proverbs, the 24th chapter, verse number 10. In the King James, it says that if you falter in a day of adversity, your strength is small. I like the way it says in the Message Bible. It says if you fall to pieces in a crisis, there wasn't much to you in the first place. God's wired you to be able to deal with the things he commands of our lives. With everything that God commands, especially regarding relationships, God gives a corresponding grace for us to accomplish it. I can mark the path in my life back to two particular people that God dealt with me about getting out of my life. One was a man, one was a woman. And one was my closest friend, the other was a woman I was involved in a relationship at the time. Got both of them out of my life, made the hard calls. And I know for a fact that was a very poignant moment in my life that launched me to where I am right now. And we've all got to mark those times of those hard calls, those hard words, those hard sayings, as it says in the scripture. And if you want the greatness that God's planned for your life, make the hard calls. Don't fall to pieces during time when God challenges your life to take it to another level. You'll only walk to the level of the people that you have around you. I heard one statistic recently, and that was this. It said that you'll make within 20% of the income of the people that you hang around. Wow. So if you get the right people in your life, I can guarantee you can have the plan that God had for your life before the foundation of the world if you'll make the hard calls. Hebrews 6th chapter, verse number 12 says, don't be lazy, but be a follower, a mimicker. Imitate those who through faith and patience are inheriting the promises. They have what they're talking about. Matthew 15 chapter verse 14. And I'm done. Jesus said, if the blind lead the blind, they both fall in the ditch. Make the hard call today on the relationships in your life. If you want the plan that God had for your life before the foundation of the world, look at the people you have around you. They'll either promise you a future or promise you more of your past. I'm praying for you today that by the grace of God, this thing will ignite in your heart. You'll make a decision to respond to the commandments of God regarding the people that you have in your life, those hard sayings. When God challenges you to make a decision to take your life to another level by getting the right people around you, I'm praying in Jesus' name that you'll make the adjustment and that you'll see the corresponding blessing because you deal with the hard sayings. In Jesus' name. I'm praying today God will launch you into a whole nother level of living, another level of prosperity, another level of provision in your life because you respond to the hard calls. Once again, my name is Gary Hash, Senior Pastor at Jubilee Christian Center. Come check us out real soon. We're a place that's providing a place for new beginnings in every area of your life. Until then, respond to God's hard calls.